Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on crimes of the future, starring Kristen, Stewart, Viggo Mortensen, and from the mind of David Cronenberg. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Cronenberg, then you haven't seen a lot of weird movies. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books if you'd like to support the channel. The Pineys, books 1 through 8, comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. So Cronenberg likes to do a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird, disturbing stuff. Just go back and look at his movies. I think Eastern Promises is the most straightforward movie he ever did. That's a good movie. I like that movie a lot. But Viggo was in that. Viggo's in this. I'm not sure what it's about, which is not unusual for a David Cronenberg movie. It has something to do with the future, because it's called Crimes of the Future. Possibly some technology used to lightly torture people, I think, for some reason. I'm not sure why, for maybe sexual pleasure, for some kind of show, and I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it's alive or not. A lot of times Cronenberg does that in his movies. He has weird, bizarre creatures that do horrible things to people. So it's interesting. He's got some kind of pod thing. Perhaps a giant bug. I mean, it's hard to say. It's called Crimes of the Future. Is this the future? I mean, look at the televisions. He's got old school televisions in the room. And you see people in a variety of disturbed ways. And you see scars on the people and wounds and bleeding. You know, there's some sort of performance art, and the woman says to Kristen Stewart, I just sometimes want to rip your face off, and I don't know if she's serious or not. So maybe this is some kind of sadomasochism group or cult or performance. I don't know what he's doing here. Is he pulling out his own teeth? Is that what he's doing? That's the kind of thing that happens in a David Cronenberg movie. And here I think they've just had sex and they got wounded at the same time. And here she is ripping open his stomach and then saying, "Are you uncomfortable or something?" It's gonna be weird. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be a weird movie. Can I break it down into a 3-act structure? That's a big ask for a David Cronenberg movie. Does he even follow a 3-act structure? I guess he kind of did in Eastern Promises. In this movie, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's about. If I had to guess, it's some sort of cult / performance group that has something to do with pain and pleasure. Maybe. So the first act is their show. The second act is their dissatisfaction with life and their nihilism. In the third act, you discover life is meaningless and the movie just ends. But a lot of weird things happen on the way. So it's not an uninteresting movie. It's the kind of movie like fancy film people watch. And then feel like, oh, did you see Cronenberg? Yeah. And what did this represent? What did that mean? It's kind of like one of those movies. I'm not a huge fan of them. I mean, I get sometimes the subtext, but if it's not grounded in some sort of reality, like, it feels like Cronenberg's all subtext. It's subtext on top of metaphor, and you gotta, it's like a mystery. You gotta peel the onion back and try to figure out what the hell the movie is. sometimes being a movie guy, I'm up for that kind of movie, something very complex that I could watch and analyze. A lot of times I'm just not. A lot of times it's just, it's only a movie. I want to be entertained. I don't want to see a lot of disturbing things necessarily, or people getting hurt or wounded. I just want to have fun. This era may be the wrong time to do a David Cronenberg movie. I want to see. I want to see something happy. I want to see good things happen to characters. I want to see the good guys win, the bad guys end up in a strange bug machine getting tortured. I guess. It's not to say that it's bad. I mean, there's something to be said for it, but it's very niche in my view. But I think this kind of niche is elevated because it makes people feel smart watching it. Not to say that Cronenberg's not trying to do some great piece of art. He is. He is and has. But this just looks pretty pretentious and weird. If it crosses that line for the sake of being weird, then it's just like, why did we do this? Now, Viggo's no slouch. To me, Viggo is only in a movie. He seems to pick very interesting projects. Now, he's worked with Cronenberg before. So that may be one reason. But it's also true that he picks very good scripts. I think, I'm still the only person who liked Hidalgo. I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't anything, it didn't blow my doors off, but I thought it was interesting. I had friends walk out of that movie. I don't know why. I thought it was a bit inspiring, So I think Viggo didn't just, he's not just collecting a paycheck. He saw the script and he went, ooh, this is interesting. So I think there's probably something here. I just can't get it from the trailer. I think a trailer like this is really, resting on its laurels, I guess, of the talent. Mainly Viggo and Cronenberg. Now, Kristen Stewart is talented too. She seems to be the person thrown in for the mainstream appeal. She looks very young in this too, I'll say. It's interesting. I'm not sure if that's the result of it's a whole weird thing there. They're doing it on purpose, making her look younger for some reason, and I think it's, yeah, she looks a lot younger in this than normal, than I've seen her in other things. They may be doing that. I don't know. They could be doing it CGI. I doubt it, but maybe just doing it with makeup, the way they've dressed her. Or they may have done that in other movies where she tended to play kind of an older character or a character that required a little more gravitas, and maybe they just made her look that way. I'll say this for Kristen Stewart: I'd certainly rather watch this than the Charlie's Angels train wreck she was in. So when I'm in my fancy movie phase, and I decide, let's go see a movie at the Ritz and, go have fancy coffee afterwards and talk about movies like we're very clever. This is the kind of movie I would go see. Am I going to go running to go see it? Meh. If I'm in a mood, maybe. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for more base takes, including a Hollywoke hot take and a news blast. We'll see you tomorrow.